Mitakayo Ace and my brothers and sisters, that's all of you. You are my family, and I love you. That's hoping that you're loving me. So, this is Labor Day. It's been a good day so far because I've been doing all these little things that I've been putting off and I'm finally getting around to doing. It's easy because the family's not here. My wife and my son decided to go down to Cape May. God bless them. I do not like the crowded shore. In fact, after tomorrow, the shore is one place I really want to be because it's just nice, not crowds. The weather's just nice. The water's going to start getting cold, but going in the water is not that important to me. It's just being in the atmosphere, being out in nature. That, my friends, is my church. So, I spoke to the guy that I had I think it was my last published interview. Well, actually, it wasn't a published interview, was it? Because actually I summarized it. Jack from North Jersey. Oh man, I tell you, of all the people I've met this year, he's up there. He's up there. He's a treasure. And I wrote on Facebook that I met a guy wearing a Blexit shirt in Walmart. We had a great conversation. And though we were going to have the conversation, how to heal America, he eventually declined to do it. I just got done speaking to him. But he says, I'm doing a good job. I say, he's doing a good job. We're both pursuing the truth. A very blessed encounter, conversation, good meeting. Fantastic. I want to talk to you about why so many black folks are getting shot, even murdered by the police, killed by the police, excuse me. Now, there are people such as, Larry Elder, Candace Owens, et cetera, who quote the statistics about black and white getting shot and the blacks and whites committing crimes. I'm not here to do that. I respect what they're saying, but I think that the statistics, talking about dry statistics, is often misinterpreted. It's come off as, ingenuous and sincere. And when the Democrats, when the left does it, the same thing. What I want to talk about is that the reason that urban blacks are getting shot by police is because the police are scared. Okay? They're just plain out scared. And I am absolutely not counting the jackass who took the life of George Floyd. That was a straight out murder. Maybe he did not. Maybe he hates black people. Maybe I am not averse to the idea that maybe somebody paid him to do this, just to create this problem that we're facing in America right now. Just needed a little spark to light the kindling. But that was a straight out murder. The other police shooting black folks, it is not a matter of skin color. It's not a matter of blacks going out to, cops, white and black cops, going out to shoot black men. White, black, brown, yellow cops. That's not what it's about. And if you say that to yourselves, you are absolutely doing a disservice. If you're saying that to your community, to your family, to your churches, to your kids, to your parents, you are teaching people something that is not true. You are teaching people to be angry and rage. My neighbor, who works retail, recently was unable to give change to a black customer. Now, she's white, customer is black. She told me about this. Because we have a coin shortage in America. We have a shortage of almost everything in America, right? So, dude said, well, you're not giving me the change because I'm black. No, you're not weren't able to give the change because there was no change to give. This is a pernicious mindset. It is being taught to people. That does not mean that I'm saying that black folks are easily persuaded or that they're stupid or ignorant. If anything, I'm going to say that about Americans, period. Easily persuaded. Sometimes very stupid. Very easily persuaded. Sometimes extremely ignorant. We do not like to do thinking for ourselves. We would rather have someone do the thinking for us. And the funny thing is, I guess I'm going off on kind of a tangent here, but the funny thing is, we want people like, say, Don Lemon, Chris Cuomo, et cetera, all these other names and all these other news outlets, to say the things we want them to say. And then we say, yeah, great leadership. But if they deviate from the script, if they say something we don't want them to say, ooh, dog, do we just hop on upon them? Man, we tear those critters limb to limb. So we want the leadership of others, but we want them to follow our leadership. Like I said, maybe a bit of a tangent. It's all related, my friends, my brothers and sisters. Cops are afraid. Cops are afraid when they go into urban areas that unfortunately, a lot of these urban areas are not white. There are just as many, statistically wise, violent white criminals as black criminals. But when you got the cops that are working in the predominantly black neighborhoods where there are predominantly violent black criminals, they're scared. They need better training. The whole idea of social workers and community workers going out there, not in place of the cops, but with the cops, to speak, to try to de-escalate, to try to calm down. Oh my God, what a fantastic idea. I'm all for it. But the fact of the matter is that there are dangerous areas. Police work is dangerous work, especially in these dangerous areas. So the idea that they're afraid that somebody might be drawing a gun, yeah, that leads to the shooting. Seems to me, humble old me, right? It seems to me that there should be, you go out on the task force, you have a group of police respond to a potentially dangerous situation, you got to designate one person to fire, if need be. If that first person is incapacitated, then you go a second person, then a third person. Nobody should be firing all at once. And as often as it happens in the movies and in the comics and in the stories, where you have these sharpshooters that can take out an ankle or a hand instead of a heart. It's really not that easy, folks. You need, especially you got a moving target, you need something big. So the chest, this whole torso area is big. There needs to be training. There needs to be reform. As what's the guy's name? Joe Clark, the black police officer, I think is from Arizona. Forgive me if I have this wrong. He has gone on record many times and said, hey, I know there are bad cops. He says, I had to fire them. And that's what you have to do. You have to weed them out. There are bad people everywhere. There is corruption everywhere. So there is a narrative. And the narrative is that the cops hate black people. That the cops are going out open season on blacks. That is nonsense. And because of people believing that nonsense, because forgive me, this is not just against blacks, this is against Americans, this is against people. We don't like to think. We want people to do our thinking for them. We want people to do our thinking for us. And then there's the herd mentality, there's the mob mentality, it exists. The reason I've come down against Democrats is very simple. I had this series, and I still have this series, I'm looking forward to doing it again, of how to heal America. And that's the idea of sitting down, one-on-one, having conversations. What do we do? And every single person I've spoken to, we've had disagreements. That's all right. The idea that we're all supposed to be exactly on the same page, same paragraph, same letter, same punctuation mark. That's impossible. That's impossible. We may say that we're on the same punctuation mark, but then when somebody has enough courage to say, actually I disagree with that, bam, bam, the social media onslaught begins. The loss of reputation begins. The loss of jobs begin. Perhaps violence. The idea that there's this group that is righteous and right and will always be right and always be that group. Nah. Because the way that this works, this is, I can give you 1,000 studies on this. This is the way that the human mind, psyche works. You start off by saying, this is the group, and then somebody says, no, well, I don't disagree with this, and the group gets smaller. And then somebody might say, well, you shouldn't be saying this about the other person, and the group gets smaller, and smaller, and smaller, and smaller. We have initiated a point of zero sum, a point of no return, and the end result is there's going to be a tiny group that's doing the right thing. There's going to be another tiny group that's going to say they're doing the right thing. And it's going to end badly. The police are not the bad guys. Are there bad guys on the police force? Yes. Have they been going around and killing all these people? No. These are not bad guys. These are people who are scared. Except for that idiot in Minneapolis, whose name I will not mention, they're scared. I have gone on record as saying there's a whole bunch of white people, too, and a whole bunch of other people, people from other cultures, other ethnicities, other skin colors, who have been brutalized and even murdered by police. But this is not a pissing contest. I'm not trying to find out, I'm not trying to compare scars. I'm not trying to say, well, gee, blacks have it worse than whites, or whites have it worse than blacks because we have 5 more murders, or 5 more murders proportionally by the police, which is not a true figure. I'm just, giving you, what's the word, a hypothetical example from the top of my head, or the top of my hat. Point being, let's not compare scars. Let's compare ourselves as Americans. Let's try to do things as American. The reason I'm against the Democrats is they are not sitting down and having a dialogue. They want to set the parameters of the dialogue right away. And if you don't conform and agree to those parameters right away, then you are wrong. You are a racist. You are a bad person. And the narrative continues until you keep having all these enraged people on the street who are yelling at and attacking and harassing other people on the streets. And Democrat mayors and Democrat city councils and Democrat governors letting them get away with it, telling the police to stand down. We need a dialogue. And the dialogue, the only thing that we need to agree on the dialogue, and fundamental, is like we got to move forward. We have to learn. We have to grow. And we grow together. That's it, friends. So peace. 4 fingers. I'll talk to you soon. You be good to yourselves and you keep the faith.